This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Hi, this is Joe. Going to give you a stock market update as of Thursday's close for Friday morning. Markets made a big move. Let's talk about the potential for the end of the year and also what signs to look for a reversal. Let's go ahead and get going. Okay, so I got some technical issues, so I'm not using the spreadsheet today. I did create this box, so let's go ahead and get going with the sentiment. We've got a plus 36%, more bulls than bears. It was 34% last week, so a little bit of a bump. And with the move that the market's making this week, I generally would expect a couple of bears to throw in the towel and a couple of bulls to jump on board. And so this number is likely to jump up, I would think, over the course of next week. So we probably want to keep that in mind, but it's already into that negative camp. Now, the overbought oversold oscillator, I use a 5 RSI on the weekly and the daily. They're both way up there. On the weekly chart, it's up at 84%. And extreme overbought, we're at 91% on the daily. So we're up there. The thing is that, again, what I've been saying for the last few weeks now is that we're so close. There's not that many trading days left in the year. Likely is we're going to probably hang in here between now and then. Probably have a couple, maybe have a rough day here and there. But my guess is that we'll close pretty close to near the highs, even though we're overbought. And then I would say next year is where this could come home to roost, where we've got the sentiment up and the overbought oversold oscillator a little bit on the overdone side. But keep in mind, a big move like this strong, powerful move, is actually a bullish thing. I mean, there's a lot of new momentum coming into the market. The momentum signs, when I go through the individual stocks, especially when you start looking at what's going on in some of the financials, if you start looking at what's going on in the industrial space, the basic materials, even some healthcare stocks, which haven't done anything, starting to come to life a little bit. Some other areas outside of technology. So I'm a little encouraged from that standpoint, but it is certainly a little bit more on the rotational side. Now, the two of the most positive things of all of these. Now, I know all of these, most of these are positive once you start getting into the trends and the momentum. The monthly momentum is neutral, but everything else is positive. But when we look at the weekly and the daily volatility, both of those are really good. You see what's going on with, look at the weekly, look at the trend of the moving average, which is an 18 MA, and this is a 20 average true range of the weekly. You see how this has been down all year, and this is still declining. So this is considered bullish. This is the kind of action you really want, and that is where both of these time frames are showing a declining volatility taking place, and we have strong momentum to the upside. When you have good momentum, positive trend, and low volatility, that's kind of like the best case scenario. Now, when I go to the trends, which I will, I am going to take a quick peek at the IWM. So look at what's going on in the IWM. I'm going to go through the SPY in a minute. But we've been talking about this, and what I've been looking at is the relative performance line of this IWM. You see what this has done the last 2 days, because it's had two monster days to the upside, dramatically outperforming. So I'm kind of encouraged by that. All right, that's kind of what we want to see. Now, we still have a pretty big bogey here. This is coming up against this resistance area up around 200. So we don't want to throw a parade yet, but what I'll tell you is that this is encouraging to see the relative performance. It's actually really encouraging to see this overbought. We want this overbought. We want to show, because overbought is a sign of strength. We want that out of band behavior to the upside. We want new momentum signs coming up. All right, let's go through them monthly. We're on month 2 of this pinch play setup off the 18-month and the 40-month, both rising underneath. And here's the pinch. You see the pinch, hold the signal line, rising line. It's exactly what you're looking for, especially with green above. Now, I'm being a little sticky here. I could have moved the momentum to positive based on the fact that this went to a higher high. If I wasn't so rushed and I didn't have a problem with my Excel spreadsheet, I might have done that. But the reality is that you really kind of want to see this above 25 and get back above this prior red peak as well. But generally speaking, it's a little bit better than neutral in terms of the momentum, but not quite all that strong, right? We don't have a really strong ADX indication at this point. But I do have a good enough characteristics on the weekly to not only call it a positive trend, but also have positive momentum. You see what the green DI is doing, breaking out, and I moved this last week, and we're getting follow through from that. We've got a moving average that's now rising above the 40. We've got a zero line reversal where the MACD has crossed back above the zero line. Now, these are conditions. This is really important. These are what we call market conditions. They are not setups, right? And they're not necessarily trigger patterns or anything like that. We're looking at the underlying condition. It doesn't mean it's a buy this second. But what the conditions are telling us is that we've got a positive trend in place. And until we start to see deterioration, you probably want to follow suit. All right. Now, we did... I wanted to pull this up with the hourly, but I also wanted to show what took place here. We had the break of the trend line here. That was only the one, right? And then we moved all the way up, and now we've clearly exceeded this. I would not consider this a 2 anymore, right? I mean, last week we poked through it a little bit. You could come up a little bit, but this is a big dynamic that unless tomorrow it just gives it all up or something like that. In terms of, I'm doing this Thursday for Friday. So you'll be watching this on Friday, but I'm just telling you, unless there's a lot of give back on Friday, I would feel pretty good about the fact that this has been eradicated. And now what we need to do is take this and create this trend line, right? We want to adjust the trend line now. That's how I would do it. You put a new trend line in, and now we need to start the process all over again in terms of a reversal. All right. Now, again, because I'm not doing it at the end of the week, you kind of want to give it the day, but I'm just sort of assuming it won't be a monster down day. To me, that's a good enough break, a pretty significant break that I think I'd want to adjust this and get rid of this trend line. And now we're starting the process all over again. Now, so we have a long way before we turn reverse this trend now, I think. All right. It's not like it's going to happen January 1 or anything, but we're getting overbought enough, and you can really see it on the daily chart that it's getting really stretched. People got left behind, and we've got a new high here in green DI. Some selling here, we opened where we closed, so maybe this is going to lead to a little bit of a setback or pullback, but again, I don't think I'd be looking for anything crazy until the new year. And then the new year, especially if we keep climbing, if we keep kind of creeping higher into the new year, I would be looking for maybe like a little swift little profit-taking pullback that leads to support and probably another move to the upside. But as long as the momentum conditions are in place, what you guys have to do, in my opinion, what you need to do is go with what you see and go with the indicators and not go with what you believe and think it's ridiculous. Oh, this thing shouldn't keep going up. Forget about all that. Just go with what you're seeing. We've got positive trends and very strong momentum in 3 of the 4 timeframes. All right. So you got to stick with that. I would follow the plan. Keep looking and watching day by day. I mean, every new day you have a new data point that you got to add to the mix. So it doesn't mean that we can't start seeing signs of distribution. I just haven't seen any yet. And I've been saying that pretty much we haven't really had any abnormal volume selling days. And so I would be leaning more towards thinking it's going to be early next year where we get a setback. And then we'll have to see after the subsequent rally from there, what type of deterioration we might see in the momentum, because right now the momentum is very strong, and I'm assuming on a pullback we're going to get more new highs. All right, that's your update for the week. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.